Welcome to the Architecture Corner. This is the 6th episode. We have two guests today, Wikstrand and Joakim Lindbom, both from Capgemini. And today's topic is Internet of Things, IoT.
Well, I'm not doing anything at home when it comes to IoT, and that's the problem, isn't it? I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah, by now. I mean, it's have been happening quite a long time. I mean, the IoT as a term is. Sorry, IoT as a word is quite new perhaps, but looking at the technology and what's happening behind it has been going on for ages. So yeah, you should really by now be doing it.
Yeah, so I have a pool and it uses a lot of power. It uses like 0.5 kilowatts, and you know that adds up over the whole season as in power consumption. So I was thinking that the first thing I should do was probably to put some regulators on my pool, so that it doesn't run the pump more than necessary.
Indeed. I mean, what you could do, of course, is take something quite simple and just have a timer or something, but that would be quite stupid, since what you can do today with extremely cheap and extremely simple technology is actually to do it both event-based, that you could actually take something that drives when the pump is pumping around and so on. It could be time, of course, that's one simple event, that there is a sunset or sundown or something. But also something else. You could couple it to a calendar, for instance. That today is quite simple. If you can read a calendar, if you could find something which ties to the pool activity, you could actually have more intensive circulation.
So there are pool activity indicators that raises a signal when someone is in the pool. And the purpose of that is, of course, so the adults can keep track of when the kids are in the pool. Mm-hmm. So that could start my pump, right?
Yes.
And the other thing is that there are some heuristics on depending on the temperature of the pool, how many times it needs to be circulated. So it's 3 times per 24 hours on a certain temperature and so on. So there are 2 important factors when it comes to the pool cleanliness. One is when it comes to weather. One is, of course, the temperature of the pool water. So that doesn't matter so much with the temperature of the air and so on. And the other one is the rainfall.
Yeah, indeed. But one way, of course, could be to invest in a weather station locally, where you could harvest this kind of information from. There are quite a lot of brands today which you can do that. They're kind of expensive, and actually, what I would say, you don't need that. There are today at least 4 or 5 major crowdsourced suppliers of weather data that is available over open APIs. You can access your local weather with a program. That's quite simple to do, actually.
I have checked the temperature and so on, and that seems to be quite accurate. But rainfall doesn't seem to be very accurate.
No, exactly, and both temperature and humidity. Those 2 factors, I would say, are the best ones today. The other ones is more forecasting, and then you would need to go for something else to do that. So depending on what kind of parameters you need, either it could work or could not work. But the point is that part of the IoT movement today is lots of crowdsourcing. It is a big data game, and it's not only the major corporations doing this, but rather there are really great open source and crowdsourcing initiatives gathering this data and making it available for free.
So I would need to make it in a way that I actually save some money, right? I don't want to, if it costs more than just leaving the pump running, I shouldn't do it. Or?
No, exactly. But actually, looking at these kind of automation systems, which is an example here, I mean, going back a couple of years, it was a PLC system. You would spend like a couple of $1,000 doing that, plus the time to implement it. Today, we're talking about hardware and software in the range of $30. It's a Raspberry Pi. That's enough.
Because I did look in the pool store. They have these very advanced systems, but they cost like $10,000 for a pool controller.
Indeed, and of course, most likely this controller can do more things than the thing I'm talking about here.
Yeah, it can oxygenate the water and ozone or whatever, and so on.
Yeah, but actually that's something you could do as well. I mean, if the ozone goes by a schedule, for instance, that could easily be controlled by a Raspberry Pi. I mean, today, really simple, really cheap hardware is extremely capable. open source software for controlling is available. There are not only one, but very many of those, which is also quite capable and quite modern. So everything concerning IoT more or less started in this area. And today we see very mature solutions in this space, which are for free.
So another thing is my fences. I have sheep, and they have electric fencing, and sometimes it happens that a cow or a wild boar or whatever else damages the fence, and if it's in a remote corner, I might not notice. So would there be some IoT way to monitor my fence to see if that happens?
Yeah, I'm not a fence expert, but I would suggest if there is a metallic surrounding, so to say, then just supplying a current over it and measuring if there is a breach or not could be simple enough. So and I mean, of course you would need to have some kind of detector, but just detecting if there is a current or not, I mean, then we're talking about hardware for like $1. It's extremely simple to do this, and
it sounds like home automation for consumers is about building a platform and then finding use for it.
I mean, home automation has been going on for like 10 years in the open source and the DIY space. I mean, I have my home automated for quite many years right now, and it works perfectly. The point is that the home automation is blooming right now. But everything from electricity companies, utilities, telcos, alarm companies and so on. Many companies right now are trying to go into this space, and what they're doing is, I would say, the vast majority of solutions I have seen is actually only copying what's there. They are either taking open source solutions and doing some kind of wrapping and packaging, or they are copying it and doing it themselves. But I don't see anything new. Everything which is today going to the mainstream has been going on in the DIY space for quite some time.
So I had a colleague back in '93 who had automated his blinders to go up and down when you turn on and off the light, and depending on the sun and whatever. So obviously among enthusiasts, it has been going on for a long time. But normal people, how many quote normal people are going to go out and buy an Arduino or Raspberry Pi and start automating their lighting to create a perfect home movie set when you can just basically walk around the room and turn the lights on or off? Or
no, most people aren't there yet, and most likely will never be, I suppose. It's a harsh word.
So I guess that means that whoever can provide these packages, even if they only provide a simple on-off functionality, like my alarm system, I can connect it with on and off switches, so that when I turn on the alarm, the light goes on, or when I turn off the alarm, the light goes off, or something like that.
Yeah, indeed.
That maybe is sufficient for most people, but I guess the real business case, as Casimir said, is for business.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, like you said, if you like you said, I mean, if you trigger your alarm, if you set it off today, you could, for instance, easily have a situation where you have a signal over to your supply of water, which actually stops the water supply to the house. And that is something that your insurance company could be interested in. That kind of solution could actually be a way for them to make sure that you can buy an insurance which is cheaper if you have this kind of solution at home. So blocking the possibility of a flooding in your home would, of course, be positive for the insurance company.
Yeah, so my insurance company does give a discount for if I have a system that turns off water when I'm not at home. But I haven't found such a system yet that seems to be reliable enough and cheap enough and easily connected to my alarm.
No, that's exactly the point. I mean, there are I'm aware of like 3 or 4 solutions doing this, but the cost of those are far more higher than the rebate, so to say, on the insurance. So for most people, there is no business case right now doing that. Of course, avoiding a flooding in your home is not only what you get back from the insurance. I mean, just not being forced to go through that situation.
It's not very funny.
No, it's not very funny at all. But for most people, it's simple money, cost in, cost out, nothing else. But the point is that I would say that since these kind of solutions are technically quite simple, they're not really advanced, and that goes actually for much of IoT. It's not piece by piece. It's not so very hard. What's hard is, of course, the integration and the combination of it.
Yeah, so when it comes to turning the water off, there is a valve,
yep,
electrically controlled valve. There is a relay that controls the valve, there is an on-off switch, and what I've seen in most of these,
Indeed.
Those are 4 very, very simple functionalities.
Indeed. But also there are other things. I mean, water is one thing, but also heating. I mean, you could think of a situation where you not only have a based on the weather or based on a schedule, on a daily schedule, but also things like if I go to vacation, then I could get down the heating in my home automatically. So not only having this mechanical control, but rather following you as a family, what you are doing, could be something that could be done over time, and of course that could save money for you.